So, okay. I'm very blushing, sorry. Thank you very much for coming today. And my name is Masafumi, and I'm talking about the mini cloud 5 computer board and for your business. And this is my profile. And I used to be and contribute to open source projects, but now leading a Raspberry Pi community in Japan and volunteering for Raspberry Pi Foundation since 2012. It's been almost 7 years. And in other side, I also contributed to OpenStack and home business, and now active committee for OpenStack Foundation, and using OpenStack and infrastructure for automotive business. And now I'm innovators and encourage and business startup home business. And this is mine. And you can see Raspberry Pi Official Forum in the Japanese category. Email. It is mine. oh, it is mine. And some contributors, and you can see my pictures and upside. And before my talk, and some of you see this. Sorry, upside down. And this one. Yesterday and 2 p.m. and in Chinese time, and the Raspberry Pi 4 and releasing and finally, and you can see the powerful spec and more memories and improved and spec. You can see on the website. And frankly speaking, I have been evaluating for 2 months and to evaluate this Raspberry Pi and for benchmark and for some spec check and some bugs on it, and almost it works good, but need to be some improved and need to be some implement for that, but almost works fine. And you can, sorry, I have no time to end. So something was showing video from Raspberry Pi Foundation. So you can please check out the Raspberry Pi official website, and you can see a briefly videos, and you can check the first spec and the Raspberry Pi 4 Hub and Raspberry Pi Foundation made a video for users, so you can see the video on the website. This is This is at the glance on the Raspberry Pi thing. Things, and this is analog audio inputs and CPUs, and it is A72 latest processor, and you can have 4 GB at max, and Raspberry Pi 3B plus and used to have and 1 GB at max, but on the Raspberry Pi 4 and now on the 4 GB at max for 64-bit and applications, and also you can use in the old 32-bit application Raspberry applications on that, and it is a good spec in both 32, 40, 64 applications. And and more the point is and independence and Ethernet and USB controllers. And Raspberry Pi 4 have and independent and gigabit Ethernet controller and USB-free controller that is used for full max speed for the Ethernet and the USB control. And I have checked on the benchmarking on the Ethernet and can be used on the 970 megabyte per sec, and it is way faster than all Raspberry Pi 3B plus. Oh, sorry. And the USB port and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth ports and Ethernet ports and USB-C, USB and 3.0 and you can use and also USB 2.0 Ethernet port, and GPIO is compatible. HDMI support HDMI, and you can use you can plug the 2 and 4K and the display at max, and beautiful beautiful 4K cars and using on Raspberry Pi 3, and you can also use the PoE hut and the power Ethernet. And plugin changing and the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus used to be and the USB and micro, and now Raspberry Pi 4 and has USB-C and power, and it is for used for more parts, and so please be careful, and so it is changes and with a 3-point USB and C and plugs and the SD cards and Wi-Fi module, and this is on the front. So it is it is a bit introduced the Raspberry Pi. If you have any question, please let me know after the session. So so main theme and today is what is a mini card computers, and so to be defined on the credit card. So it is very similar to the size on the almost both has a credit card. But lately, and the AI and the use for such a board bring some changes, so it's getting bigger, and it is accessible, and which is a Pico ITX form factors and more, and now the Core i3 architecture baseboard, and that has and also it is a Pico ITX architecture on that, and it's getting bigger lately. And this is a core, on the Google and the stickboard, and it is for the Google Safe, and it is if for same Raspberry Pi 0, it is useful and on the Raspberry Pi 0, but something is connecting, and Coral and have a USB-C, but Raspberry Pi have a USB micro. Need to something change and need to use a connector cable, and more and there might be some not good performance on that, but it is useful. Google says. So far, there's a mini computers and small and factors and card size, and small and embedded, individual computers used for the IoT, and it is a very good and important point in the chip. And I sometimes discuss with and some vendors on the why we chip. And Raspberry Pi is and the target prices in $35 and even for Raspberry Pi 4. And it is strategic prices. So and it and first price is important. Most vendors say, and it is an important point of chip. And run through distributions. And most and board is now on the ARM-based and full ARM-based and full and distribution OS like Debian and BSD on the but hopefully Windows 10 running on it. And five now and if mini computer is and F-born. For PCs, and I sometimes presenting and some conference about the Raspberry Pi history. It is for and it is born and for and keeps and education and programming. And lately also it is PC is very expensive. And so it is very hard for hacking. So now on the PC, you know, and I have using a MacBook, and it is for the only presentation and something and the web and such like thing. And you know, and the socket is now getting smaller and cheap, faster and cheaper and rapidly. And I haven't heard from the Raspberry Pi Foundation and about the benchmarking for and deeply in the Raspberry Pi 4, but it is and close to something like the latest PC and more now. It is very cheap. And you know, a smartphone is very and faster, and it is very enough to use in the daily life, computer using. And Raspberry Pi, and now you know, is and open the door and something like computer use. And and at first they use it for keep education for programming, but they Raspberry Pi for using and the whole end computer business and to industry business, and it is the dynamic changes, and that's because of it runs on the full distribution OS. And model concept, it is first and it is only for the first educational use, and they run the cost and target price and textbook, and it is for the newbie use. And I've heard in some of the college, some of the high school and who using and Raspberry Pi useful, and it is something like trial, and the students break the PC, and once breaking the PC, it runs how it works. They learn how it works. So the teacher tells me, and breaking PC very important to run, and PC and deeply. And lately, and the Hawks machine of China, you know, and NanoPi or the Banana Pi and Sorry, their tone model now lately. I don't know in detail. And now and so very brilliant. First of all, and Evan and Tommy they're many more fake, but and we don't care, and it is very important. So growing growth and big market for such a mini card computers. So it is, and now and there are many more you can see and card size computer around the world. And this is more variations of Raspberry Pi. My friends and taking a pics and now on this blogging on his website. And this is so I should check and we should check and deeply on so something like hardware things and some sorry and may I ask you and you have Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi similar board? Raise your hand, please. No? Oh, okay. So first of all, and so sometimes, and you know, and it annoys the SD card easy to break. So and Raspberry Pi Foundation and the Raspberry Pi engineers and has been evaluating and SD card things, and because it's really weak and very nervous related to voltage inputs and less more and software issue on Linux. And so and Raspberry Pi and this and the BPS and the carrier service are checking the SD card issue, and they say it break very easy, and we should check and use another way for that. For and SD card is a very easy to broken, so you should check and what and use and you like to and useful, and because SD cards and very easy to broken for that. And eMMC and now and the Tinkerboard on the some other board and included internally and because and as I said and they know and so SD card issue, so they and prefer to use on the eMMC cards inside. So and it is good low consumption but low speed and low cost and sometimes and high cost higher than and NVMe SD card. And now and so USB and disk and you can use and boot devices or many more and embedded and sorry and card size and computers. So and you can and and you can use that. It is very easy way and but depends on the speed depends on the USB controllers. And so and if you so use a many more and many more on the PCs sorry card size PC on it and you should better to choose on the PXE on the network boot option and the Raspberry Pi on the other board has. Because and so Raspberry Pi and so and BPS carriers and has as a conclusion so Raspberry and it might be better to use a network booting and when using a many more and Raspberry Pis as a clusters. And yesterday and Aoyama-san and had LT and about the Raspberry Pi cluster and for Kubernetes, and it might be better to use a PSK and not to use and SD card. He and just before and discussed with him, and he told me and say and SD card sometimes broken and while using. And SD card and SPI and SDIO depends on use. And robustness and as sometimes on the and I know it's robust and because some of the boards still weak and some use. And you should check and use and robust and before using it. And Raspberry Pi and if baby and tough and so because only Raspberry Pi supported and children treated roughly and that is and children and sometimes and throwing the PC game controllers and you know and throwing and game itself and so if thing gets stressed and so children and throwing something who them the stress so and they and Raspberry Pi supporting Raspberry Pi is supported and so children and throwing on the board and it is very tough but and some and boards might be fried so and unexpected momentary power I mean and so many of boards supporting and supposed to and use and 5 volt 2 amperes and for the hardware, but and some battery and provide and incorrect and board and amperes, and that is and some boards provide 1.9 amperes. Some battery, some adapters and provide 1.9 amperes. Other and AC battery adapters provide 2.1 amperes, and other 2.2, 2.3, and that and sometimes and AC adapter provides incorrect battery, thus and breaks the board. And I met an issue on the HPC board on that. So you should and so please and care and for using and the board and providing so the AC to the board, and you should check very carefully and so such thing. With such thing, so before using such a musical card side board and the kernel. And the kernel is not easy to update, and not easy. Kernel update is still not easy. So and you and almost Debian users and so knows and while upgrading and up to get upgrade or upgrade and this hyphen upgrade, but and almost and such a card size board need to and so update and U-boot DTBs and so and in manually, and it is very difficult sometimes, and check and so update also and root FS manually, so sometimes annoying for that, but Raspberry Pi is not and care about that, but is on the other board and should be cared such a things about that. And having a project and think about this and update it and the original Debian and original and the log chip and Oxyx Debian's use and I and now GitHub and so communicate with them and to update and log chip based original kernel for that. And they think about now has a specific and kernel to us that is made that sometimes you're not useful. So I and have and so whole patches to use for use for lock chip and the original and the Debian kernel and operation system, and almost in fine, but Windows, Windows, sometimes annoyed for that. And even for Microsoft engineers now using Duo and for sometimes the Raspbian and based edge board. So hopefully and now Microsoft best effort in the Windows 10 board. It is unofficial, and other chips. And if I found the Jetson and the latest board, and plugging USB sometimes and suddenly rebooting. So please check on the voltage and amperes and so to satisfy to use that, and at least checking the Jetson nano and it needs 5 volt 4 amperes. So they say they can also use 5 volt 2 amperes and invested, but it's almost things all 6 and only and Jetson and you should use 5 volt 4 amperes AC adapters for that. And so latest I discussed in the Raspberry Pi engineers about that, and so now latest CPUs needs heat sink fan and or spread this, and it used to be not so hot so CPUs. But in the A70 it is getting cold like species, so you need to fan on the heatsink or using that. And so please be careful about us. Okay. So I checked this is another issue on the UMPC in China, and I visited GPD and Shenzhen and UMPC vendors, and I writing the hot tips by using eMMC and not using high spec CPUs, and it is almost for the hot and not prevent the hot damage. And some of the other PC vendors doesn't care about it. It gets almost 100 degrees in internal on the at the UMPCs. That it doesn't useful. And so it is and the USB issues. And USB micro supposed to provide 2.0 amperes. So it cannot it is not illegal to using on the 2.5 amperes. So please be careful. And so using on USB micro that is supposed to provide the 2 amperes actually. Yes, and it is something like latest case for that. And Aoyama-san yesterday presented this, and they using the Kubernetes or Raspberry Pi cluster. It is 100 Raspberry Pi 3 on the Kubernetes. And now in the AI use, and it is and Iden and AI startup in Japan trying to Raspberry Pi using for AI. And you have, Jetson, and please be careful. And it is very hot. So, I will show you some briefly something use case and for such a computer devices. And now, and it is and sorry, they are Bonho so hobbyist, but is and now using it is using for the industry use lately, and getting a bit less and keep using for and keep education for and programming, and it is for the signage. And it is for the audio use and streaming, AI, and it is for the now and helping for the and Japanese winery and helping of their business and solar power, the group height and checking and thermo and humidity. And to use less agricultural chemical for grapes. So it is useful made on the natural and Japanese wine for that. And it is very simple use case. And using for something like business and only such a car size computers. And it is a Taiwanese project, and so PM 2.5 measuring project, and in Taiwan, and it is also Raspberry Pi, and using using for measuring PM 2.5 issued, and it is free efficient Taiwan and Korea, and now and they try to use that measure the PM 2.5, and it is for business. And Japanese and sorry and university in the US, and it is made mini systems, and so Raspberry Pi the full type distribution with, and so it is for servers, it is for database, it is for something lamp stack for something, and build the mini and infrastructure system to doing the business and simulations in the university using a Raspberry Pi. And that's all. Thank you. So any question for that? No? Any question? Ooh. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I have more question about this slides.
Yeah.
Could you give more details about the
Okay.
scenario?
Okay. Thank you for your question. His question is on the more details. And sorry for that. Sometimes I'll look. Okay. Oh. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. And his question is on this and agriculture use or on the mini card size board. And I will tell you in detail. And now this Japanese and buyers using so Raspberry Pi and so measuring and thermo and measuring and humid and to grow the grapes for the vine for the and his wine, and it is on the using solar and it is and it runs on the solar batteries, and you can see and grooming by controlling and AC and DC control, and Raspberry Pi, and have sensors, and for humid and humid and thermals, and so sender and measuring the data and thermal and humid to send and website to and graph it and the farmer check that and okay, farmer check that and about that. So he checking in the and every days and so graphing. So he and control spraying and so agriculture is chemical for that. It is a use for that. It is use case. Okay. If any more questions, and please tell me after that. Okay.